truthfully, I like what I see the Flyers have done.
Yeah.
Because I was never, fighting intimidated me, quite frankly, if you want to know the truth. I was a chirper and an instigator, and I caused a lot of problems and got things going. But I always had, like, Schultz and Kelly and DuPont were there, and, I could stir a lot of shit and get away with it.
Yeah.
But when I watch the Flyers model of play, and Florida, and some of these other teams like that, they're banging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are taking the body. Freddie used to say, get the puck in deep and arrive in ill humor. And you know what? That's what the Flyers are doing. Mm-hmm. When you look at what these guys are doing, getting the puck deep, getting in there, first guy's taking the puck, banging, and trying to create the opportunity and getting on the defenseman hard. So quite frankly, I enjoy the brand of hockey they're playing today.
Yep.
You don't need to fight.
No, I agree.
But the hitting, don't take the hitting out of the game.
No,
Right.
Yeah, I agree. It's probably as close as you're going to get to what like Flyers culture, would be in the current state of affairs.
Oh yeah.
And then you do have, you have Nick Deslauriers if you do need some scraps and some toughness.
Even
but like
Nick Sealer, he's a
Seals,
good middleweight.
Hathaway, you got some guy, but the grit is what you're that
Hathaway's to me a fighter like maybe I was a fighter. He's not really a fighter, but talk about grit. And banging and grinding.
Yep.
He's like a Dornhofer kind of guy. If I look back, he's a guy you want on your team.
Yeah.
And Deslauriers, I don't think anybody would have wanted to fight him in any era.
No, right?
Dude's just tougher than nails.
Mm-hmm.
So they got him if they need him.
Yeah, that's the truth. Yeah, they're certainly trending in the right way. We talk about this all the time, like from last 2 years to this year, like as far as recapturing that Flyer identity and just the essence of what the Flyers stand for. I think they've kind of found that.
Well, what a job they've done.
Mm-hmm.
Danny Briere and coming in and what he paid his dues. He was down in the minors, and he learned the game, and he's coming in. And Jonesy is a perfect compliment for him.
I agree.
And Dan Hilford, he's a great leader. He led Blue Cross, and he's leading the right way. He listens to them, and I think that with Danny and Jonesy, Danny is a GM, so I give him credit for the courage he has to make the moves that he has. People are critical of things like, could have he got more for Gauthier? Why did he do this? Why did he do that? Guess what? It takes a lot of courage to do what he did.
Yeah.
Right.
Because he felt this value is going to diminish over time. I know what I can get now. I'm making the decision. I give him a lot of credit for that. And then for the morale, the team spirit that has been built over the last couple of years, I think you got to give some credit back to Danny and Jonesy and Hilferty for that.
Yep.
And Torts. Boy, they've created an environment where they're coming to play every night. I really hope they make the playoffs.
I do too.
I think these kids have earned it. I'll be really disappointed if they don't because they're putting in the effort.
Yeah.
Yeah, they sure are, yeah.
They're fun to watch, man. They really are.
Yeah.
There's no give up in that team. Even when they lose a game by more than one or two goals, like they never stop playing.
That's
never
right.
stop.
And they never stop.
The last two games are indicative of it.
Yeah.
They just don't quit.
Yeah.
Riley and I were in Boston last weekend for one of our sponsors is Fans of Philly, and we went up for the game, and they were down 3. They almost came. I mean, they almost came back in that game in the third period. They scored some late goals, and you're on the edge of your seat because they just never quit.
They're not stopping.
Right.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I watched a little bit. What Riley goes to bed early? Is that what you said?
Does he ever? Yeah, he stayed up that night.
Yeah, I stayed up.
We even waited post game, saw some of the guys, and
it was my birthday,
so he
I had
couldn't
to
go to
stay
bed
up past 10.
Celebrate.
It was funny. He was so hungry, and I'm like, "You're gonna eat this late?" Because he's so healthy. He usually doesn't eat too late, and he's like, "I'm starving." And we get back to we stopped by this a bar with some friends of ours right beside the hotel, and I was like, "Well, do you want to eat?" Nah, I'm gonna go to bed. I don't need to eat now.
I'm done.
But he had to get to bed. But we had an
Yeah.
early flight though, also.
Yeah,
But
it was fun.
anyway, they just, to your point, they don't give up and they play so hard.
Really
it's fun
hard.
to watch.
Yep.
Yeah,
is.
yeah. So it'd be interesting how the next 9 games go for them. Obviously, they're in a good spot. Goaltending has been a little bit of a question mark the last few games, but again, the resilience and the effort and the fight they have is, I mean, to me, is contagious, and they're riding that wave for sure.
Yeah. These goalies got put in a tough spot.
Yeah.
You know, when you look at Harrison and what he was doing, he was supposed to be backing up
Yeah.
Hart. All of a sudden, he's number one,
He's the guy, yeah.
and they have no experience.
That's right.
Coming in at this time of year when guys are, I'm sure you guys see the same thing I do, that the tempo of play, the pace of play has really picked up this time
Right.
of year, the intensity.
Sure does.
And the way that people are banging at the nets. And then, you know, you throw in all the defensemen that got hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
They got kids that have never even haven't been in the league for more than a dozen games
Yeah. I know.
that are playing significant minutes.
Yeah.
So you put that on top of it, there's going to be breakdowns. In a way, I kind of feel bad for these kids, but I think they're stepping up. And
I agree.
And Harrison can have great nights.
Yeah.
You know what? Last night, you know, those Rangers goals, he doesn't let in bad ones.
Right.
And what's amazing is the Flyers responded.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
you
know.
5 goals against the Rangers because,
They would not go away. They
yeah,
would not
like
go
that's
away.
the top goalie in the league they're
Yep.
shooting
Yeah,
at.
I
you
That's
know?
right. That's the truth.
Yeah, it's not a bad time for these guys to get that experience, though, right? I mean, it's like, what else are you going to do? Is you got to own it and embrace it, and hopefully, you know, they can.
And they're doing it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I'd like to see them just get into a round of playoffs for Lawton. I mean,
Yeah,
right.
this guy's
Yeah.
paid his dues, man.
No doubt.
And he's really playing. He plays hard.
He
He's
does.
playing real hard.
Yeah.
yeah, hell of a goal last night too.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
did.
great goal.
Yeah.
I'm impressed with this Bobby Brink, the way he's been playing the last several games. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's undersized,
Yeah.
but he looks like he's got strength in his lower body. But the way that his intensity for pursuing the puck and the way that he plays the body when he's going into the corners and still keeps his focus on the puck, he's going in against a lot bigger guys and winning a lot of battles.
Yeah.
And he's got a high level of skill, this kid.
Yeah, he does.
I just, hope he continues finding his way because I think he's a talented kid.
Yeah,
I agree.
for sure. I think for him, it's just they obviously believe in him. It's just the consistency thing, and he's kind of like maybe that fringe guy right now. But I think he's developed a ton this year. I
yeah.
mean, he keeps improving and looking more confident. I think
Yeah.
going into next year, he'll
Right.
I mean, come back, a little bit more confident, a little bit stronger, and probably earn that full-time roster spot, I would think. I
Be
mean,
good if he did. They've
Yeah.
got a lot of good kids in the minors, too, that
Yeah, they
are
do.
in juniors coming up.
Yeah.
It'll be nipping at the heels, which isn't a bad thing for a team.
Right.
Yeah.
To
Yeah.
have those young guys in the minors pushing you.
That's right. Yeah. I think the future of the Flyers is bright, no question. I think they're back on track to
Yeah.
being where they want to be, and